Perfect. So is quiet quitting affecting, threatening your team's performance? Welcome to today's live video, live training. My name is Melissa Landry. I'm a professional certified coach. And the type of coaching I do is executive coaching and leadership coaching. And I work with leaders, I work with executives, I work with managers at different levels, and I help them build up their influence and build high performing teams. And I help them build self-managed teams, the types of teams that they don't need to sink in a lot of time to manage, worry about their performance, but teams that are showing up because they want to show up and they are doing great, effective work so that this leader, this manager, this executive can focus on the good work that they need to do, the strategic work on their desk. So joining me today is the newest member of my team, and I have such a team, a self-managed team. So welcome Kushbu, also known as Kay Singh. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, you are.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
Kay just recently joined my team as the client solutions specialist. And what that means to me on my team is she is on the front lines. She is helping me put together my workshop, my signature workshop, the Influential Leader Workshop. Which is happening in a couple of weeks. And if you're interested, we'll drop some information about that and how to sign up. And she's also helping me with marketing and putting together really important resources for my clients, for you and for my clients. So, Kay, I'd love to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to the great people who are watching this video. Some of these people might be new to us, and a lot of people that are watching today are existing clients, previous clients. So I want them to be able to get to know you.
Sure. Thank you, Melissa, for a great introduction. And hi, everyone, to whosoever is joining. My name is Kay, and I've recently joined Melissa's team. It's just been over 2 weeks. And I have been a marketing professional for most of my life, and now I've switched to client solutions, and I'm really enjoying my time with Melissa. It's been 2 weeks, and I've seen firsthand what great leadership looks like already. Not to butter you up, Melissa, but right from the interview, right from the interview process, I could sense this was going to be different. And ever since then, you've celebrated my small wins. You have made me feel like I belonged right from the very start. You gave me the keys to my kingdom, and you have always given me the room to grow, learn, and contribute. And I can confidently say that you exactly practice what you preach, and you have created an environment where people feel valued. So, so yes, I think, and I'm really enjoying my time here. And now over to you, Melissa,
Yeah,
about quiet quitting and what you are doing and what actionable strategies you're going to give in the workshop coming ahead to prevent it in its tracks.
absolutely. And so Kay is experiencing this new approach to leadership and to creating self-management, which is so important in today's evolving workplace. And it's been changing. And we've been feeling it, we've been seeing it, we've been experiencing it. I hear it from my clients every day how things are evolving, they're changing. And it's almost like they were changing before the pandemic, and all of a sudden we hit fast forward and things are not the same. And the reality is they're not going to go back to what we knew before. And a lot of the management methodologies and our approaches that used to be effective just aren't. They're not working.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we have been seeing a lot of is quiet quitting. And so I want to talk about that a little bit. I think it's really important to understand what that is, what that looks like, And it might be happening right in front of you, and you may not be noticing it because it's not necessarily obvious. So what is quiet quitting? If I were to ask you, Kay, what you think quiet quitting is, how would you describe it?
Very interesting. So I have seen it, I think, firsthand at my workplace with one of my colleagues. I think it starts with disengagement. You stop engaging, you stop bringing the same energy to the table that you used to bring before. And then there comes a point where you are completely disengaged. So that's where it starts and it builds up to you quitting permanently.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so quiet quitting it does start with engagement, and
Yeah.
the engagement starting to slip. What it looks like, and I'm going to talk about engagement more specifically just coming up here, but quiet quitting, it's kind of like I'm no longer feeling this, and I'm going to continue showing up and work and occupying a seat, but I'm going to do just enough. I'm not really going to show up emotionally or mentally for the job. I'm just going to do enough to fly under the radar. I'm not actively quitting, as in, I'm not giving you a notice. I'm not going on sick leave. I'm not leaving. I'm still occupying a seat, but I'm not really there.
Absolutely.
And that's a problem. And when we're busy, and as leaders, that is the case. There's so much to handle. There's so many priorities. We don't have just one employee. We have a team of people and sometimes multiple teams that we need to be supporting, as well as reporting back to executives, to making sure that we're hitting our strategic goals, and to, a lot of times we're dealing with fires. If we're dealing with a lot of change, that comes with a lot of challenges. And so we'll miss the nuances, we'll miss the little hints that somebody's not quite showing up. And so if you look at what's underneath all of that, and apparently, so I'm going to give you a statistic here, Gallup survey in 2022 stated that about half of the workforce in North America is quiet quitting, half of the workforce. That's, quite a significant number. And it does start with that engagement. And
Yeah.
what we forget about engagement is fluctuating constantly. We don't just have like high engagement check. We have somebody who's highly engaged and that's it. They're highly engaged forever, or, throughout their commitment to coming to work. They might be highly engaged one day and then it can start coming down, it can go up. And we start seeing this coming from highly engaged, moving down to engaged, neutral, which is where we're starting to see that we're just doing enough. We're still meeting our targets, but just enough, nothing more. And then we get disengaged and actively disengaged. So disengaged between this, disengaged and actively disengaged, this is where the quiet quitting is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So what is engagement? So we talked about what is quiet quitting. It's really important that we understand what is engagement.
Yeah. So I think engagement is having meaningful conversations with your team to regularly check in with team members. And this is not just about the tasks, but also how they are feeling in their roles. And if we are providing enough room for them to be challenged, to grow further, and to also give them a sense of belongingness, that's equally important as well. So yeah, I think these combined make up the engagement bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also asking like open-ended questions and not just like, hey, what did you do today in terms of your tasks? Did you hit your KPIs? But also like open-ended questions to truly gauge if they are engaged or if there's something that's holding them back. So yeah, I think that's according to me is engaging with your team members as a leader.
Absolutely. And there's something that's really key in what you said, how
Mm-hmm.
they are feeling.
Yeah,
And if we are to measure engagement, you're either feeling it or you're not.
exactly.
It is a feeling, and it is the emotional commitment that somebody has to effort or to their work, to their role, to their leader, to their manager, to the organization.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a feeling, and as much as we don't want to be dealing with feelings at work, or so we feel it's not relevant, when we're talking about engagement, which predicts performance, all of a sudden it becomes really important.
Yeah,
Really important.
that's true.
All right, so I want everyone listening right now to just kind of like add that to your dictionary, the definition of quiet quitting and the definition of engagement, because that's going to be really important to understand as we move forward here into more of the practicalities. So things are changing. Why are they changing? What's happening? What's happening? And I'm
I
asking that to you, Kay, and I'm asking
Yeah.
everyone who's like listening, drop in the comments, what is happening? What's actually changing? And why is it changing?
Mm. I think we have evolved beyond the need to pay bills. Now it's also about the feeling of belongingness, the feeling of autonomy and freedom is something that this generation is valuing a lot more than what used to happen before. So I think all these things coming into play have really shifted the landscape and the needs have evolved, and that's what I feel has changed.
Yeah. It's really comes down to our worldview, our
Mm-hmm.
worldview of what is work and what is work going to do for you. Once upon a time, work was solely about paying bills, right? You don't really need to be happy. You need to survive. You need to pay the bills. And that is what work is doing for you. And then you have the rest of your life to take care of everything else. And I grew up in a world where that was the thinking, that was the worldview. And a lot of us have. And as a society, we've been evolving. We've been evolving our thinking around the workplace slowly but surely. Oh, all of a sudden we have passion jobs. We can go get something else from work, not just the money, but and you can see that in your career. When you're making early career decisions, you're just taking whatever job to pay the bills. And hopefully you're going to be using your best skill sets to be doing that. You're going to be lucky enough to find something that really leverages what you're bringing to the table. So you have a little bit of power, a little bit of mastery that comes with that. And that feels better than just paying the bills. And then as you're growing in your career, now you're like all of a sudden like, ooh, that's not enough. I want to do something meaningful. I want some
Yeah.
passion. I want to see a difference. So now we're making career moves that are about aligning with our passion. Um, we want more autonomy, more flexibility. As we're growing, we're gaining more authority as well as we're growing in our career. So you can see how just in the evolution of our career, we're starting to look at meeting more of our needs. And that was something that it was true in the past, but it was something that was like, I'm lucky if.
Mm-hmm. That's
Ultimately, I need to pay the bills.
true. Yeah.
And the parenting style has been evolving. What we're valuing as a society has been evolving. And so the new generations coming into the workplace are seeking something different. That is true. So when we're looking at the generational effects, we want their worldviews are different about work and they want something different. Then all
Yeah.
of a sudden we have a pandemic. And big events like that really have a way of changing our worldview. So things that we're lucky to have, or these are nice to have, all of a sudden became really important because when our survival became threatened, wow, life has a whole new meaning. We don't know
That's
what's what, but all we can do is take care of ourselves all of a sudden, and try
true.
to find happiness in, these four walls at home. We couldn't even go out. And
Yeah.
there was a whole lot of new meaning making, exploration, self-exploration. And we got time to think about, what is work? What's work to me? What do I really want to be doing? We had time to think. And we had to create solutions for the fact that we were in a world longer an option.
Hmm.
So remote work became more accessible and almost the norm for a little bit, where most people were working remotely. And these were options that, yes, were available, but we didn't really believe they were viable until we gave them a try. And all of a sudden, we realized that all of these options are possible. Hey, I don't even have to work locally anymore. I don't have to get in my car. I can work for any company around the world. Kay's working with me, Canadian company, and
Yeah.
she's from India. She's
Hey. Yeah.
These things are possible. So
That's
all of a
true.
sudden, our worldviews are changing about work, and
Mhm.
things are possible. It is no longer a nice to have. It's really possible to meet more of our needs.
That's true.
So what's not changing? So this is like what's changing. And I think it's really important to look at what's not changing, because that's where we start finding the clues as to how we can approach this changing world. What's not changing is psychology, and it is the basic needs that drive our behaviors, that drive our performance. So I want to cover those very quickly here, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time because we are going to offer you an opportunity to learn a whole lot more about this. But just quickly, the 5 basic needs that we all share, everyone on this earth has a need for survival. And what that looks like in the workplace, right? Paying your bills, getting enough money to pay your bills, to keep a roof over your head, to get what your needs met so that you survive. And that used to be the only thing that we thought work was able to provide us.
Yeah.
Also, ideally a safe environment, physically, mentally, emotionally safe. So when we talk about things like psychological safety, this is the bucket that it fits under. We're also looking for belonging. We have a need for belonging, and that is a need, when it is not met, creates a lot of stress, and people leave places where they don't belong. So
Mhm.
was a driver before, and now it is something that we're really looking for, that sense of community, trusting each other, being able to work together, enjoy working together, and collaborating. All right, so more teamwork. So we're moving from not just sitting side by side with colleagues, but wanting to work more collaboratively. Power, meeting our need for power in the workplace, looks like mastery. It looks like the ability to be recognized for the good work that we do, using our best skill set, growing, developing, gaining authority, decision making. Freedom,
Absolutely.
the ability to have flexibility, to have some control over your own agenda, to not be micromanaged, right? That's the thing that I don't want to be
Yeah.
micromanaged. Every interview, right? What would you not want from your work? I don't want to be micromanaged. It's because we want to meet our needs for power and freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And then fun and learning. And sometimes we forget about that one. And fun is in the workplace, feels like enjoying, engaging, laughing. we can have fun and do serious work.
That's true.
We also have lots of fun when we learn new things.
Mm-hmm.
So engaging in professional development, right? We're seeing more of that wanting to develop, wanting to grow, wanting to engage in professional development activities. So I could go much deeper and we could really, really unpack all of that. But I'm sure as I'm talking about it, it's not unfamiliar. These are the things that employees have been asking for, and they're daring to ask for it because now they believe that it is possible.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 basic needs, and now we have new pictures, new things that we want from the workplace that we didn't want before. So what does that mean for you as a leader? What does that mean for you as a leader? First of all, it means that telling people what to do and saying, do it because you're paid to do it is not going to work. At best, you'll get short-term task done, maybe even in project, but you're going to have people doing just enough, and probably you'll see engagement waning and you'll be on your way to quiet quitting.
Yeah. And as you say that, I've asked people who are watching, have you ever felt like you were disengaging or seen someone in your team quietly quit? So I would love to know your experiences in the comments, and we'd love to discuss how leadership plays a role in keeping the teams engaged. And Melissa, having said that, we asked a question yesterday, and a lot of people responded to that. And that's, what's one thing you believe leaders should do to prevent quiet quitting in today's workplace? And we received a lot of interesting comments.
Would you care to share some of them if you have it
Yes,
nearby?
of
Because
course.
I'd love to hear some of them.
Yeah, I'll just share one of them, which I found really interesting. This is by Adele, and she says, be realistic about what's going on, how busy people are, what you're asking them to do, acknowledge their workload, offer help, ask what they need to succeed, setting priorities together so they know where to invest their time and what can wait, so they don't get frustrated trying to do it all at once.
Mhm.
And then communicate often, show appreciation, staying aligned and in touch with your people, maintaining a close and open relationship. And these are all, I think, wonderful, wonderful insights into what leaders can do to prevent. And what do you think about that, Melissa?
Well, I think it's hitting on a lot of the key points that we've been talking about, which is
Yeah.
really understanding people's needs and people's wants.
Yep.
Those are big questions to ask. And as a leader, we often feel like we don't have the time to ask. And if we ask, oh my God, we're going to have to deliver, right? That's a real fear. That if I ask the question, what do you want or what do you need, or really delve into somebody's needs, I might pick up some responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not true. That's not true. We can explore these things without becoming responsible for meeting them, but we need to start asking the right questions and getting in the right conversations. Without it, we're just not going to be able to turn things around. We're not going to be able to get the performance that we're really seeking and make that transition from, having to work to wanting to work. And the wanting to work is where employees really are going to thrive and give you the performance that you need to hit your goals and to not have to worry about them.
Mm-hmm.
And trusting that your team is doing the work is an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
It's an amazing feeling.
I
So
agree.
that is exactly what we're going to be diving into and addressing in the Influential Leader Workshop happening on October 7th to the 11th, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And what we're going to be doing is over the course of 5 days, we're going to be meeting for 1 hour a day. It's going to be lined up with lunch, so 12 p.m. Eastern time, so that you can join for the 1 hour during lunch and get back to work without skipping a beat. And
Mm.
over those 5 days, we're going to be covering, how to spot disengagement, how to assess the situations that you're dealing with, if there's any disengagement or performance issues, what kind of challenge is that, and what is going to be the necessary efforts and the approach that's needed. And then you're going to learn about my 3-step influence system so that you can position yourself to have the right kind of conversation, the truly transformational conversation that feels good. It might be uncomfortable, but these kinds of conversations help you move through and come out the other side of the conversation stronger, stronger as a leader, the employee stronger as a performer, and a stronger bond between employee and leader. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk more about how things are evolving and what that means for you as a leader, how to get that leadership edge and stay ahead of what's happening in the workplace so that you are being proactive
Hey,
and,
Melissa.
and not
So
falling behind. Go ahead.
sorry to stop you, but we have a few comments on our live where people are sharing their experiences. Do you want me to share it with you?
Absolutely. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, of course. So we have Beth who says, my manager did this recently and it left me and my team with a lot to clean up. People do this when they have to report to toxic leaders. And then we have Jane who says, asking the right questions is key. Love the notion of wanting to work.
Absolutely. And asking questions is an art, and it is an art that I love. This is a passion for me, asking the right questions. And like Kay said, she could see it right from the get-go within, even in the way that I interview,
Yeah.
is completely different. That's something that I get a lot of, is how my approach is different. So I want to let you in on how I do it, from interviewing the right person to managing performance. I'm going to let you in on my secrets, how I do it. I get paid to do this for a living. It's what I live and breathe, and I'm going to show you all of my secrets. I'm a very practical person, so I'm going to give you some insights. We're going to talk about the concepts, but I want to focus on how the concepts can be applied today. And so through the workshop, you're going to learn and you're going to be able to apply from day 1 to day 2 to day 3. Most people start reporting back wins on day 2, how things are already shifting. And by day 5, situations have been completely turned around. So I can't wait. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to have Kay on board, and you'll be able to experience the whole thing.
Yeah.
And for those who have participated before, know that we are making adjustments. So there will be some newness too, because I really want to emphasize what is changing and how to adapt our leadership approach to something that's effective in this new landscape of work. So you have time to grab a seat. We're filling up fast, but we still have some spaces available. Kate, can you drop the link in the chat?
Of course, I'll do that. So I have dropped the link in the chat. And with that, I think I also, Melissa, you forgot to mention that this is going to be your last session for this year,
Yes.
and it is packed with a lot of fresh content. So I think people are going to derive a lot of value from it. and it's going to happen on Zoom on October 7th. It'll start from October 7th to 11th for 1 hour and during lunchtime. So you don't have to miss or skip a beat. And we'll share recordings with everyone who registers. So registering is important so that you don't miss the recording. Even if you're not able to attend, that's fine. But you won't miss the recording if you register.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone. I can't wait, and I'm excited. This is a right next step, leaning into the fall and setting ourselves up to be ready for what's coming our way in the coming years.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Good
everyone.
one.